So you didn't take any action. You didn't take any action. You didn't fire anybody. You haven't compensated a single victim. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?
Well,
they're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
I think they've come a long way. Meta, Facebook. I think they've come a long way. Say it.
Do you think he's directly responding to the threats that you have made to him in the past? With
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. Hey, I want to start with your boy Zuckerberg. I met Zuckerberg at a Dana White UFC fight. I call it Dana White UFC fight because Dana White is the president. But at a UFC fight, I thought he was one of the coolest guys when I was there. I ain't gonna even lie. He looked like a complete nerd, but he was cool. He was shaking hands with everybody. He was friendly with everybody. And I can't say the same for other celebrity types that we love and admire and we think are conservative. Zuckerberg was one of those people that I felt like was a cool guy. Let me just say this real quick before I get into the fact that he decided that they're going to discontinue third-party fact-checking, which have destroyed my Instagram account over the last 90 days because I had an idiot that I hired that was posting false information and I ended up getting hit. Now, let me just say this. I honestly, when I saw Zuckerberg and I put two and two together, I admire his success. I hated what he did with Facebook, but I gave him an exception because I realized a kid that's brainwashed, that's going to college, that becomes a multi-billionaire almost instantaneously, what other options do you think that the person has, right? I mean, do you think that he's really going to be a conservative? No, he's probably engulfed with these leftist lunatics that are in Silicon Valley. So I gave him a slight pass for it because I don't think necessarily he was calculated and evil. I do think, however, he was convinced that the social justice warrior mentality was the right way to think. However, after hanging around Dana White and UFC, y'all can go back and look at some of my old videos. I predicted it. I said, if the guy is going to hang around people like Dana White in the UFC, which is just riddled with conservatives, if he's going to be doing mixed martial arts and fighting himself, riddled with conservatives, at some point, the young, impressionable Zuckerberg is going to open his eyes up and say, wait a minute, what I've been doing has been delusional. Now, y'all know I got to be fair, balanced, and impartial. That's one side of it. The other side of it is that Donald Trump ain't playing with y'all. And everybody that censored the public and they did all of the nefarious things that they did, you're going to be in trouble when they implement the people that are going to be on the side of the American people. Kesh Patel and some of these other individuals that are conservative that are going to hold your feet to the fire, you're going to start seeing people act right. Because censoring Americans, colluding with the government to overturn an election is not legal. And so the one side is that I think he's waking up and realizing that he's probably he probably should be a conservative and that these leftists are lunatics and nutty.
I think they've come a long way. Meta, Facebook. I think they've come a long way. I watched it. The man was very impressive. I watched it. Actually, I watched it on Fox. I'm not allowed to say that. Say it.
Do you think he's directly responding to the threats that you have made to him in the past? With
Probably. Yeah, probably.
The last time you were here, you were asked a question about the U.S.
And then on the other side, it could be the fact that he don't want to go to jail. He don't want to ruin his entire empire because of what he had previously done, right? He addressed the fact checking, and then not long before that, he apologized and admitted that the government kind of forced his hand into cutting out people and claiming it's false information with the Fauci ouchie. So let's put the Zuckerberg clip up here real quick. It's a 5-minute clip of him addressing the public. See, look, when I seen him in person, I said, he is worth $100 billion. What am I doing wrong? This is the nerdiest guy in the room is worth $100 billion or something crazy. It's insane. But, you know, he got a little swag. He got his little T-shirt with the chain and stuff. Man, he kind of funny, man. He used to be super corny, man. But you got to think he came from that environment. Little college kid in a dorm room making you Facebook. Anyway, roll the clip.
Hey, everyone. I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting.
Hold on. You didn't do. Stop it. I'm gonna go back so y'all can get it from the beginning. I just want to stop right there. You did not build social media for people to have a voice. Let's keep it real. You build social media in a way in which people think they have a voice. You build social media for harvesting data and getting people's information and selling it. That's why you did it. That's why it's so lucrative. So, ladies and gentlemen, Meta is ending its fact-checking program in favor of community notes system similar to what's on X. Now, this is incredible here. It appears that the mainstream media, almost 600 people have written articles about this. It's almost a 50-50 split when it comes to left-leaning outlets and right-leaning outlets, and also, just a little bit more for the people in the center. But let me just show you this real quick. On the left, they're emphasizing Zuckerberg's criticism of the government and legacy media, and on the right, you could tell by far that they're talking about the fact that Zuckerberg stated that he will support or work with Donald Trump and his administration to do better when it comes to censorship. It is clear as the noonday sun that Zuckerberg is backpedaling like he's a defensive back in the NFL going for the Super Bowl championship interception, whatever you want to say. And all of the information I just mentioned to you is brought to you by Ground.News, which is the news outlet that I use so I can have a balanced perspective. All you got to do when you enter your page and you sign up, you go down to the accounts and you can look at the left-leaning articles here, center, right, read all of them so you can be informed about your news in a balanced way. I want you guys to go right now to ground.news/Tatum and sign up for the Vantage plan, which is the plan that I use for unlimited access. All you got to do is sign up. If you sign up using my link, ground.news/Tatum, we'll put the link in the description section. You'll get 40% off. This is the lowest price of the year. You better act fast because it's not going to last long. Go to ground.news/Tatum to get your news in a balanced way.
Hey everyone. I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political. But there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms. Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't. So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platforms. We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down. Fourth, we're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed, so we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again. So we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive. Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas. As we work to promote free expression, I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams. Finally, we're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more. The US has the strongest constitutional protections for free expression in the world. Europe has an ever-increasing number of laws institutionalizing censorship and making it difficult to build anything innovative there. Latin American countries have secret courts that can order companies to quietly take things down. China has censored our apps from even working in the country. The only way that we can push back on this global trend is with the support of the US government. And that's why it's been so difficult over the past 4 years when even the US government has pushed for censorship. By going after us and other American companies, it has emboldened other governments to go even further. But now we have the opportunity to restore free expression, and I am excited to take it. It'll take time to get this right, and these are complex systems. They're never going to be perfect. There's also a lot of illegal stuff that we still need to work very hard to remove. But the bottom line is that after years of having our content moderation work focus primarily on removing content, it is time to focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our systems.
I don't know if I'm mad or I'm excited. It's very weird. Y'all got to understand, people like myself and others have been putting in work tirelessly to make good quality content and focus on exploring and expounding upon truth in the face of so many lies and deception. And we have been shadow banned. We've been telling people we've been shadow banned. They curate our content. We've been knowing this for years, and they lied to us and said it's not happening, and we gaslight and all this stuff. After so many years, so many people have lost money, meaning that if they hadn't stifled half of the Republicans, we would probably be making way more money, have way more opportunities on social media platforms. Therefore, we could be more generous and do all kind of other stuff, build teams and build, an entire empire around conservative content. But they stifled us, shadow banned us. I just got off of an Instagram shadow ban just like a week or two ago. I had a 90-day shadow ban because I posted information that they said was fact checked. Well, at least some of it was wrong with the guy that I hired. Had to fire his sorry self. But outside of that, there was content that I posted that was 100% true. And they fact checked it anyway and gave me, a negative feedback on it. But I'm also optimistic and glad that Zuckerberg is now turning a corner because this may actually mean something really great for all the content creators that are conservative. Those of us who have been kicking butt and trying to keep it going for years and years, and we've been consistent, we never gave up. Hopefully it's an opportunity that our stuff get the reach that it deserves, meaning that all the people that follow us get to see the content that they want to see from us instead of blocking political content. He just admitted on the thing that they were blocking political content. I was wondering how I see people on social media and stuff be viral. And I'm like, that video is not even good. And then we talk about something that's incredibly important, that's breaking news, and we get like 200,000 people watching it. So I'm hoping that this is a net positive for the conservative community and the community as a whole. And for him to say they're going to work with Donald Trump is shocking to me. And I guess in addition to that, they also appointed Dana White on the board of Meta, which is also funny. Dana White is probably one of the biggest advocates of free speech, and he don't give a F. And so let's play Dana White's clip. This is, I think, him responding to that. Roll the clip.
About, like, you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about, what they can say when they are up there with a UFC microphone and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Like, is there...
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying you...
A leash?
I'm like...
Free speech. I control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe. Going to tell people... I don't tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on, though.
Yeah, probably a good idea. That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want.
It speaks to what Daniel White stands for, and him being on the board and making sure there's no curated speech is incredibly powerful. And I knew something was coming like this when I saw him at the UFC fight, and he's with fighters and he's hanging around Dana and other conservatives. I knew that Zuckerberg would come across with the hot sauce. I said it in another video. I wish we had the video, that I said that Zuckerberg probably voted for Donald Trump this time. And I also said Jeff Bezos did. I could only imagine. Y'all, sorry for we don't know what's going on with this camera. It keeps blacking out, but just avoid that. As long as y'all can still hear me, I think it's fine. I can't believe Zuckerberg said that, man. I'm trying to move on to the next topic. I can't believe he said it. It's kind of blowing my mind that after all these years, but it's also a good thing that finally they're giving us the opportunity to have free speech.